Music, music, music. Says I'm live. Hello. Says I'm live. Hello, everybody. I'm trying to get this situated here. Okay. Every nobody, because it's just me right now. But I'm sure some people will wind up coming through. So, as I said, you can always expect me to be late. And I also was, oh, that's a little too bright. Okay, yeah, that's better. I'll put it this way. All right, so I also was more than just like, oh my gosh, I feel naked without my necklace. I am naked. Anyways, I have to get my music on still. And let's see, what else? My table isn't clean. Want to see my table? Like, I still have like residues of stuff. Oh, well, this is tonight's. Yeah. But if you look closely here, yeah, you can see just a mess in any event. Sorry for all the noise. Ugh. Mm-hmm. That's better. You're not here to see me. You're here to see the leaf, right? So I guess it's okay. So tonight's pairing. I'm testing some new leaf that just came in today, so I'm super excited. But more than anything, of all the leaves I am totally stoked about, Maduro is back. Oh, okay, that's enough of that. But look, I waited months for Maduro to come back, okay? So I'm allowed to be a little excited. So tonight, we have this little Spanish, right? A little Spain in the house. And it's golden to go with some of the golden leaves that we're working with. It's a liqueur, right? I'm going to sip some out of my little glass. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, that's lovely. Woo, that's lovely. In any event, I'm so glad nobody was in the room to see me do that. I'm sure you might catch me later, but at least it's not like you're looking at me. That is so lovely. Let me tell you, it is sweet. And, you know, my palate is sometimes a little on the sweet side, so it's okay. I mean, I can be on the dry side sometimes if it's really, really fabulous. But I can't just look at the color. Yeah, look at the color in that. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So anyways, it has me drooling. Happy Valentine's Day, right? So, you know, today's a day of passion and love and feeling yourself, feeling your man, feeling your woman. So it's a little bit warm. It is warm. It is sweet. It is medicinal. It is lovely. Anyways, a secret Spanish family recipe of the Mediterranean citrus fruits infused with selected botanicals. See if we can get a closer look at that. Yeah. Ooh, that's kind of blurry, yeah? Isn't that beautiful? It's a lovely bottle, though. It's very masculine. But as a liqueur, I'm thinking of so many things. Like, I could pour this on peaches. I could pour this on pears. I would stew this in pears. And as I'm allowing the flavor profile to coat my tongue and the lining of my cheek, I am thinking of what I will roll to pair with it. There is something about the alcohol. Now I'm trying to tell you, this is only 31% alcohol, okay? But it's so good. And when it goes down, you want to like inhale it somehow. And just when you go to inhale, it like catches your breath. Catches my breath, honey, because I am a baby when it comes to liquor, but I love it, right? So I just do little bits at a time. So I'm feeling myself. Okay. All right. I bought up some time. I'm going to move on. I got some new leaf today that I'm experimenting with. And some of this leaf that I've been experimenting with is leaf used in piping tobacco. Because as many of you know, I will often pair my pipe tobacco with my cigar tobacco. And it is a unique, I inspect every bag when it comes. So I hadn't inspected this bag yet. That's why I was like really studying it. So it's a really unique twist on cigar. There are some companies in the industry, in the retail industry, who also pair with pipe tobacco. And it really is, like I said, it's a different experience. And if done well, the two, and when I say done well, I mean where the marriage and the union of the leaf is one. You can't actually identify the pipe tobacco in the cigar leaf, right? In the blend. Sometimes you get a hint of something and you sense that, oh, something's different. But if it is married well and it has sat long enough, typically what's the word I'm looking for? I do that sometimes because I have fibromyalgia, so I get like a little bit of a brain fog. But in any event, typically that process that occurs after the second month and into the fifth year, depending on how long you allow your blend to rest, when it's no longer fresh. Fresh is when it's newlywed, right? And then it goes through the honeymoon phase. And the honeymoon phase is where it's resting and all the leaves are just starting to become one unified voice. We talked about that last time, about the choir, and you have solo parts. And, as a teacher, you're listening to the different students and you're listening to the soprano and the alto and the baritone and the bass. And you're listening to each part to make sure everybody is in tune so that the unified song, the whole thing comes into harmony. That is what it is like whenever you've moved on from the fresh state and into the union where the two become one. And by two, I'm referring to the wrapper, the filler, the binder, everything becomes one, right? So that process takes some time. It doesn't take a long time, but in the amount of time that you do give it to rest, typically after 2 months, that union has met its, they're married. Okay, so they're married. It's obvious if you smoke that blend, you're not tasting the individual notes, right? But, I should say that they're not fighting or they're not battling for dominance, okay? You may taste them if your palate is mature, but they're not battling for a dominating position or rotating dominance within the profile as you're smoking it. So what happens instead is you taste one note, and that is called the blend. You taste one blend. So if you allow that blend to rest for even more time, and by even more time, it could be hundreds of years. I mean, if you look it up, there are some blends that are very, very old. In any event, most people will allow them to mature, right? So just like any marriage, and it's Valentine's Day, so we're talking about love and marriage, and that's why I chose this topic. So as the blends have married and they mature, they really just personify and magnify in that blend. But the blend itself doesn't change. So from that point where they're married to the point where they're mature in marriage, it's still recognizable as the married, right? Just that it's richer, right? Because it's much more mature. So I'm sure it is a lot like this beautiful liqueur or wine or anything else that's divine. So, ooh, again, that is so lovely. I highly recommend. I'm not saying names because, ain't nobody paying me for this shit. I'm just saying it's great. So, I wanted to test this leaf. And usually when I test a leaf, I test it for all the secret components that would manifest in a blend. I'm checking for burn quality. I'm checking for whether or not how quickly it goes out. Not just the burn quality. Burn quality could reference, how it is burning, but also I like to focus on the color of the burn, the color of the ash, how it is, what kind of a cloud is it producing? What's the palate experience? What are the flavors that are going on? To do that, I just smoke the blend. I smoke the leaf as if it were a blend, as a singular note. So I will take a piece off. That will be my wrapper. And I will take a piece off that will act as my binder. And then I will use the rest to be my filler. Okay, so here I have a piece of binder. Here I have a piece of wrapper, which I'm going to mist. All right, this has already been pre-cased because when you do buy leaf will come to you pre-cased. So it doesn't take much to really case it. So I'm going to tuck this in my favorite spare tire, to warm it up for a moment, and it'll get really nice and pliable. And then, as I said, I will use the remainder of it, and it will behave as my filler leaf, right? So let me turn this down so you can see. Can you see better? No, you still can't see the table. There we go. So, all right. You see that? Yes, a little bit more. Okay. So I am treating this as though it were my filler. Again, this would have been my binder. Yeah. This came from one leaf. This is one leaf that I am working as if it were a blend. So I'm going to roll that up. It is being treated as the binder. Very, very tiny. So again, we're operating off of one leaf here. All right. Now I'll take my other little piece that I have stashed in my secret compartment. Yeah. So it is a little more soft now. Yeah. It's nice. And this is a filler leaf, but I want to taste the leaf in its purest form with no
other leaf influence. No binder influence, no wrapper influence, no influences. Oh, just look at the color connection we're making here. Yes, I love it. So I want to see what notes this brings out. It's a new leaf to me. And could I have my glue, please? It's a new leaf to me. It's my, oh, here we are. I'm sorry, it's force of habit. I don't have to do this. I could just, rough it, but just force of habit. I didn't have my glue handy. It's on the way. But in the meantime, I will use some black gold. Just a little drop will do you. All right. It's all right. There's not? Are you sure?
This is on the table.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's it. All right. So this honey is going to be impacted from here up. So this will be my pure test, and then the rest will have some influence by the honey. So I will not be without a pure profile because of the honey. So I'm not going to cut much off of that, but you can see a little better this week than last week, the inside roll, right? Same with this side. Yeah. Let's see if I get any closer. I have a better lens coming, so that will work better in another week or so. I'll have some better equipment for you guys. In any event, working with what we have, I'm going to give this a light up. Yes, please. Thank you. All right. So, a little too close. Yeah. This is what we're working with now. Yeah. So I will go ahead and do a little light up there. Test first for the aroma. It's hard not to fall into the psychology that this is a blend. It is not. This is a leaf, a singular leaf. And we are testing for what it offers, what potential it has to offer to a blend. So already I'm able to tell a few things just from the aroma of the leaf and its profile. It's not a heavy smoker. There's a little, I'm sure you might be able to see just a little, I don't know, in the contrast of my hair. It's very light. Has a little bit of a spice to it. Mostly in the first part of my tongue, where I pick up some sweetness. And the burn, as you can see, oh, well, here you are over here. And if you can see, the color of the ash is white-ish, kind of a gray ash, okay? The coal is fairly consistent. And what I mean by the coal being fairly consistent is you can also see that the burn, for being a cased leaf, and that's always my field test. If you have a leaf that burns well cased, it will burn wonderfully when it has lost that excess hydration. So this one is doing that. It's holding its case well. Now, I don't see smoke anymore. And so that's going to be an indication for me that I would like to test and see if there's anything to bring back. And there is. So the reignition is also what I check. Did the reignition, it's although as you can see, you should be able to see that there's a red ember that has come to the ring. I often try to get you to remember that it's important to reignite to the ring, all the way to the edge. So it's definitely a light profile. But the flavors that it has of the sweetness, and I was trying to, in the Indonesian Castori, which is a beautiful leaf that I used in a lot of blends, has been discontinued. It's not on the market anymore. So as a result, I am seeking to supplement that blend by taste testing others to see how close they come to Indonesian Castori. So this was one of the leaves that I was tasting. And so it lacks the organic honey profile that Indonesian Castori carried, while having some of the similar spice that the Indonesian Castori had. So this is an oriental leaf. So I find it interesting that they carry some similarities and yet still missing some very distinct and important contributions that would be made to the profiles or the blend profiles that I've already created. So to substitute that leaf, it has to come really close or be combined, thank you, with, I don't know why that doesn't sound right, has to be combined with another leaf that together would create or duplicate that original profile that I'm looking for. When your leaf or blend appears to be, this is so light I could inhale it with no effect. But when your leaf appears to be, now see my edge is a little bit darker now because I'm reaching the honey. Anyways, when your blend appears to be going out on you, and you're not quite sure you can pull it back to get it in, get it reignited, the best way is to just blow out a little and quickly pull back in. And you'll be all right. Okay. So I don't want to smoke all of this. And I especially don't want to go too far into the honey because I want to see if I'm able to pair it with another blend that will give me what I'm looking for. If I can't reproduce it, then I must change the blends, right? So that is one. So I'll set that down and I will prepare another. Let me clean my palette. It's very important. Ooh, that's so good. That's lovely. It is very important when pairing leaves that you pay particular attention to all of its aspects, because once you have those aspects committed to memory, when you begin to do the blending work, right? Which, as I mentioned before, the rolling stuff is not really the difficult part. I mean, once you get a hang on it, you're good, right? But the difficult part is training your palate. Now you can train your palate for the smoke. That's one thing, right? but then training your palate to bring individual spices, individual seasons, individual flavor attributes together as a formula, and then roll them together. That is a different art and science. You want to make sure that it's going to play in the sandbox well, right? I see a blend and leaves as if they were the sandbox. And all these little leaves, these stacks of leaves that I have here and in my lab and in trunks everywhere, excuse me, all these little stacks become children, you know, in a way. And when they get involved and they start getting in the sandbox, some play well together and others don't, right? So it's really, really important that you identify its profile and who it plays well with and who it doesn't. And you want to, there are some leaves, like that leaf particularly, I could see playing really well with a lot of the milds, the milder blends, the milder leaf, but not all of them, not all of the milder leaves. A few of the milder leaves I can think of in my mind right now, such as the Ecuadorian shade, would be a clash for that leaf. The Indonesian Sumatra, I do not believe would play well with that leaf right there. So as your mind knows, as I always refer to students because that's my anchor. You know, a mature mother of 5 adult children now. So, you know, you kind of begin to learn their characters, you know, their personalities, you know, how they develop. Every single leaf has that. It has its own body. It has its own contribution to make. You know, you get one kid and one kid wants to be a dancer and the other kid wants to be an artist and the other person wants to be a mathematician. And you have all of these different aspects that each one wants to bring forward their gift, right? Every leaf is bringing forward a gift, right? So you want to make sure that the gifts are compatible with one another and so that they'll play nicely. And then you know that when they get married, something else happens. See, right off the block, you get one profile. And it's like when you're playing with your friends. It's like when the kids are all playing. And right at first, everybody seems to get along great. You can get a leaf that is like that. Very deceptive. Makes you think it's going to get along with everybody. And on the draw of your off the block, it's great. But then a week, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months later, you're like, what the fuck happened to this thing right here? Yes, somebody was naughty. That's the best way that I can explain it. Because as it begins to marry, it may get combative. It may decide, I don't like this environment. I don't like the players up in here. Y'all really not my friends. It's really like they have a life of their own. So some leaves, and then I will then, if I run into a blend like that, my next process, and this is what I do for new blends, okay? Then my next process in the entire thing, I want to make sure I'm on my time. 7:38, I still have time. My next stage in the entire process is to then re-roll the blend, removing one leaf out of every blend that is rolled of that blend. So if I have 7 leaves, which every remix has 7 leaves, I will roll each one with 6. And then that will tell me, after that month period of time has gone by again, I will be able to identify which leaf is the bad player, which is naughty. Now, that leaf that's naughty might be fabulous with another group of leaves, but naughty in this environment, okay? And by naughty, I mean it just dominates and takes over, or it may allow the others to come forward, but be like this this evil Knievel in the background that just leaves this filthy something on the back of your tongue. Okay, that leaf is playing naughty. Okay, so on the draw, it's great. On the retro, not so much. So, or maybe on the draw, it's great. And suddenly, out of nowhere, there's something happening, some side effect happening in your mouth. There is a leaf. Now, it might be great to some. This is where I pull my focus group in. That might be just my palate it's doing it to. So when my focus group comes in, have them taste it. Have them taste each one. And if they're able to identify that, yes, there is a little something, non-kinky, but this, a little off going on with one of these sticks, then I know I'm confirming for myself that, yes, it's the naughty leaf. And my focus group is a swatch of the market. Okay. I like to use people from, all walks of life, so to speak. So I'm pretty confident that, if their feedback is the same, and sometimes I'll get them and some will say, you know what, I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. But that to me is not enough. That to me is not enough. Now to others, that might be okay. But for me, I want you to say it's great. I just do. Now, I don't want you to say that everyone is great because everyone is not for you. Like everything is not for everyone, right? But the ones, whoever it belongs to, whoever it pairs with, whoever it's a match to, it should be great for them. It shouldn't be like, I could live with it. I could deal with it. No, you can save that for retail. I said that live. So anyways, so yeah, that's part of the importance of pairing and the work and the science behind the creative process, the making of whatever your design style might be or your artistic side. Maybe you have a theme or you say, look, I want a football, or I want a bat, or I want a boot, or whatever those things might be for you. Those are additional preferences. I can't just make crap for you and then make it pretty. I guess it's possible in life, but there's something just about that. It's like people would have said, you know what, I'll just take anything. Like, just send me anything, because I would have selected blends and maybe it takes a long time for it to get to you. And then let's just send me anything. I don't really care what it is. Well, that stunts my ability to be authentic. Like, I can't. Like, I waited all these months for Medora. I have to wait. Like, I just can't wrap something and send it to you and just be like, well, hope they like it. Oh, I selected blends that I felt would pair with you. And I have to stick with that because that was my initial conviction. And I got to go with that. So there's just some things I am anal about being flexible with. And other things I'm very liberal with. So just not about this leaf. Not about this fucking leaf. So I'm ready to make the next one, which is coming from this is some Bulgarian Oriental leaf. So it's made a little different. So I think I have to treat this one a little bit differently with regard to how I pre-roll it. So I'm going to put the lamp down so you can get a look-see. Yeah. So this one came packed a little different. This one actually does resemble most the leaf I'm trying to replace that was discontinued. So I'm going to see, I might have to take a piece of this one as my filler. It does smell the closest to my Indonesian casturi. So we'll see in here. Hydrate that a little bit. hope I'm not spraying you. No. Take that vein out of there. We can get that a little bit warmed up. I'm smelling it. It's smelling pretty close there. Make a nice tiny one so we can get a real good. See, I got a little stack there of the leaf that we are going to roll as a test of the profile of this leaf alone. So let's see if I can get a little piece out of this. This is filler leaf, so it's not really meant to have a binder and a wrapper. It's meant to be choppy like this and treated as a filler. So I'm forcing it to comply with my wishes right now and make it more than what it's intended to be. So here I have a little piece that I am going to force roll here. All right, let's see what else I can get out of here. Doesn't look like much else here. The rest is really just repeat filler. So we're going to make this work. All right. All right. Doesn't matter that it's raggedy, okay? Because we are just after testing the purity of the blend and what profiles it could share and contribute with other leaves. So that's all that we're after in this. So we're not being judgmental about the leaf. All we are doing is establishing qualities. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up again a little bit. Cheers. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope that you all are not in this room today because you are with somebody loving and loving them and yourself in the process. Here's to you, wherever you may be, and to your love. So I'm going to light. Nice pack. So right off the bat, I see that it will pack well. I'm trying to see how close I can get to where the pack will reveal itself for you. It's just, I'm going to get a better camera work. Okay. I'm going to do better. But first things first, it packs lovely. It has a beautiful color. So these are things I'm looking at and I'm looking for. I can already tell it's going to be a rich burn. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Its leaf aroma is so, oh God. But just because something smells like another leaf doesn't mean it will be anything like it. So I'm actually crossing my fingers with them. I'm kind of getting excited. I'm trying to get some of my other leaf that I'm trying to replace. Now see, this one is a little bit darker, right? This is the leaf I'm actually trying to replace, right? And this one is the one that I'm considering. Ooh, they are very close. They are very close. So I'm actually just going to light a little bit of this. So I'm going to light a little bit of the Indonesian Castore so I can check aroma first. Now I'll light this one. Mm-hmm. Taking a little bit longer to ignite, but it's been cased and pre-cased. Wasn't pre-cased very much though. Very different. Very different. This one actually is a bit sweeter than this last one. This one is a spicier. And I can tell by what it's doing to my nostrils. Yeah, this one is definitely a sweeter, chewier leaf. That retro is really close. I'm so excited right now. It's very, very close. Now I'd like to try my double shot just to see. Hmm. It's really so close. And even closer together. Because where there's still something in this. There's still something in this that is too unique. Some things are so unique. It's like your children, like you can reproduce the same set of genes, but there just be some unique qualities about each one that you just can't duplicate. So that's interesting. Now, what I'd like to try now is this other leaf. There's one other leaf that I have that I received, which is also an oriental leaf. And we'll see how we'll see how this one plays. And this one is even more chopped than the last one. So I'll have to find a good piece in here. This one looks pretty good. So this one looks pretty good to play with here. All right, so let's put this down, keep it closed. And let's see what we can do with this. So this is going to look raggedy. And again, it's supposed to look raggedy. It is not supposed to look proper because this is only a quality of profile chest. I'll put that up here. All right. So all we are checking for is that flavor profile and the burn attributes, which, by the way, I will take you back to this one, does not have as good a burn, as you can see, as good a burn. All right. So and you see the quality of the burn there. See, they are nowhere near as good as one another. This is a raggedy edge while this is a very clean edge. So right off the block, that's telling me that this needs to be paired with leaf that not only taste good, but have high burn quality, which is why I grabbed this one, because these two side by side, this one would enable this one to remain ignited easier, which would give this one a more consistent burn. So it's a thicker leaf, and it is a slower burn, and it does not provide the volume of smoke that this one here does. So pairing the blend, pairing the leaves is, yes, about flavor profile, but also about burn quality. So when I was referring to burn quality, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how does it burn? What color is the ash? How is the smoke? Is the coal remaining lit? The coal can come back on this one. It doesn't come back on this one. This needs the support of secos and velados and to maintain its burn. So in any event, we're going to move on to this one here, which is the third and last of the leaves I selected to try to duplicate and replace this leaf called Indonesian Castori, which has gone out of circulation. It has been discontinued in the market. So again, I will just do a little quick burn on this one to smell test. And so our profiles that I've already committed to memory, but in comparison, I want to, when I think something is going to be really close, I want to smell it. So I already know this. It's in my blood, this leaf, how it smells. Now, this one, while having some of the sweetness, also has a bit of a spice that, kicks back not as pleasantly. Reminds me a lot of the Connecticut shade leaf in that it has some of that tea profile. If you really smell good Connecticut shade leaf, it will smell like great tea, not like black, not like green, like help me, like oolong tea, okay, or even oolor tea. So we'll do a light. And the pack looks really good. Reminds me a lot of the first one. It's got a great pack. The burn quality should be pretty good with this. It's a thinner leaf than the other one. While the other one will help keep your coal hot, it will burn slow, which is good, but you want to really pack it with a lot of support leaf for burn quality. So this one right away is taking to the heat. Ash color is on the gray side. Mm. Now, that little thing that I was smelling, I am now tasting. It's kind of a mixture between perfume on a Sunday morning and a more savory profile. The two together are reminding me more of cigarettes than of rich cigar tobacco. I can't escape the perfume thing. Even the residue that it's the aftertaste that it's leaving on my lips, while I do taste different flavors, that bitter residue on my lips is not pleasant. It has this kind of after taste that is more on the bitter side. And I know that there are people who I roll for and blend for that do not care for bitter at all. So this would be a leaf that I would not categorize for anyone who dislikes leaf that's on the bitter side. And just try to go ultra sweet and see. Doesn't hold a burn. It has cloud, but it doesn't hold the burn. The ash is considerably white. But that taste on my lips. The deep throat is a little tingly, but it also is a little metallic-y, I want to say. Which reminds me a little bit too of how some Colombian, I love Colombian Seco, but there's there are some Colombian leaves that can contribute too much metallic flavor to a leaf or a blend, and that metallic thing can be very overpowering. If I put this next to any other blend, I'm confident it would overpower it. It's very light, like cigarette, and again is out instantly. So Connecticut Shade would not do that. Connecticut Shade will hold its own. If I burn a Connecticut Shade leaf for you, it will hold its own. And there are people who don't like Connecticut Shade, but I remind you, not all Connecticut Shade is it's like I told you about Candela, right? Not all Candela, because it's green, doesn't mean that it's all the same varietal of leaf. You can get Dominican Candela, you can get Nicaraguan Candela, you can get Ecuadorian Candela. Like, you can get Candela from different places, and it's a different varietal of leaf. It's the same with shade leaf. You can get different varieties of shade leaf, and then too you can get different Connecticut shade. Like, it's grown in Connecticut, harvested in Connecticut, and maybe sent out and processed elsewhere and brought back, or whatever the life journey of the leaf may be. It may not necessarily be the same varietal that is the shade every time. So always having to test the beginning of every batch to make sure. And if there's any changes in that flavor profile, then I have to modify, right? More or less, or totally different leaf. And this is not a leaf that I will probably use. I wouldn't give up on it because I'm just not like that. But you can see, I'm going to show you how much whiter that is, even from the gray ash version. It's just, oh, there you are up there. Gosh, can't wait to get my new camera. I have a new camera coming that will help see things more clearly because this is piece of crap. So the importance, yeah, of the whole leaf pairing. Pairing begins in the blend, okay? And then you take over and you begin pairing the blend, all right? Now, off the block, remember, off the block, you get one profile, right? And then the ones that I send, right, the ones that don't work months later, never leave. If they work months later, then those are the ones. So when you taste it off the block, it's going to be different than when you taste it 3 weeks later, different than when you taste it 6 weeks later, different than when you taste it 8 weeks later. But around that 10th week, it's really pretty much married, and that's the blend that you're going to have, and that blend will mature. So those, battles for who's going to lead or, who's going to dominate in the profile and which leaf is going to be the spearheader. And oftentimes that comes with how much of a certain leaf we put in. And sometimes it has nothing to do with how much. You can put a lot of something in, but one leaf can be so powerful in its profile that it will stand its ground against a pack. So that's just the beauty of, blending and the science and the art and the experience of blending. Again, I will emphasize something that you will not have with cigarettes. And I've been talking about that before, and I'll continue to talk about that because it's against us right now, right? That's something that is problematic for us. So, 43, yeah? You really need to get you some. If you don't have already some in your stock right now, in your little stockpile, your inventory, you should get some because it is amazing. And it would have paired so well with any blend that I use this Indonesian Castore with, which I will now I have to test now the substitution. I believe these two will work. These two here. I believe these two together to ensure burn quality, right, will work. So that being said, I will then now introduce it into some of those blends where the Indonesian Castore was once being used. And then we will see whether or not it holds true that it is very, very close. Before I go, I want to show you, where's my block? If I can show you, because, it gets a little bit, here. I want to show you, I am casing some Jamaican leaf, which I might also complement with this leaf. I may not need to, but I thought I might have needed to, but on its own, it's just an amazing leaf. But I just want to show you it because it's so beautiful. And I'm showing it to you in its pre-case stage, right? So this is it right here. Yeah, it's beautiful, right? Very thick. Like this doesn't look like anything, right? But it will when I'm finished with it. So it came wrapped in this banana leaf. Yeah, came cased inside this banana leaf. Yeah, can you see me? I can see you now. So it came cased inside of here. And it had its own tie like that. So sure, some of my roller friends out there may be familiar with this. So it comes inside of here, and then there's this other one, and it's rolled as well. So this was its cocoon that it was in, see? And it smells like village. Never throwing it away. But it just smells like village. It's so. If you've ever been overseas, if you've ever left the country, and if you have ever been to a muumuu or a underground cook where they cook in the earth, this smell will be very familiar to you, because they also use the banana leaves to cover the hot rocks and the sand, and to protect the food, right? So when it begins to steam, when it begins to cook in that hole that's probably 20 feet, 10 feet deep, 10 feet wide by maybe 4 feet, 5 feet deep. I could be off in those specs. But as it's cooking, you can smell this smell. And so when I smell it, it takes me back to Papua New Guinea. It takes me back to, Aboriginal Australia. It takes me back to those times when I smelled that. So I am going to preserve this for more reasons than one. And then it will take me quite some time, but it's already beginning to release from the walls, but it will take quite some time to truly this is whole leaf tobacco. It's whole leaf. But to truly get it to separate, it's going to take a long time to case. It's not like when you miss these. And I mean, look at how solid it might as well have been a palm tree. It's so dense and condensed. So it will take me quite some time, layer by layer, to just keep casing. And then I will be using that for very specific blends. And it's just beautiful. It's wonderful for pipe tobacco also, but it's fantastic in certain blends of cigar. So I'll be using that. So those of you who are like, just joining ReMix or, new to the ReMix experience, just have you know that certain things are reserved for my VIPs and my guest members. So you can access some of those things as a special guest of mine, but you have to get on that list, and usually by summer that list is full. So then you kind of have to wait until the next year. It's unfortunate, but I only have these, just 2. So do what I can, right? So thank you. Thank you so much for coming today. I think my hour is up. Get you some. Thank you for coming and tasting the ReMix. Till next time, everybody. Roll on. And long leaf life to you, right? Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Kirk says happy Valentine's Day.